So what are the two boots marketed and designed for? The Magista Obra 2 is a control boot and is going to be predominantly worn by central midfielders and defenders. The likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Mario Götze, Blaise Matuidi and David Luiz are the headline wearers of the Magista Obra 2. Over to the Hypervenom 2, it's really your strikers option. Robert Lewandowski, Jamie Vardy, Daniel Sturridge, Edinson Cavani and Riyad Mahrez are the headline wearers of the Hypervenom 2. So the main feature on the Magista Obra 2 is this heat map inspired upper. So you've got raised pods on the medial and lateral sides of the boot just to aid friction and controlling the ball. And the main feature on the Hypervenom 2 is the off-center lacing system. So similar to the same concept of the Total 90 series, great for your strikers and wingers needing that cleaner strike on the ball.
So looking at how the Obra 2 and Phantom 2 actually fit, and they're actually pretty similar because the fit is very universal. They have slightly wider last than what you'll find on the Superfly, but they do have those Bria cables either side of the forefoot, so the narrow-footed players can wrap their foot nice and tight for a responsive fit. If you are interested in buying either the Obra 2s or the Phantom 2s after watching this video and aren't sure what size to go for, then definitely go to your usual size as they do fit very true. I went for my usual UK 10.5 in both pairs and they were perfect for me. So looking at the breaking time of the new Obra 2, and they won't require too many sessions before being fully broken in and ready for your match days. The dimpled upper is pretty soft straight out of the box but will become even softer after a few sessions. The only part of the boot which may require some breaking time is a dynamic fit collar, and that's exactly the same on the Phantom 2. The honeycomb Nike skin upper is very soft out of the box, but that dynamic fit collar will just take a couple of sessions to become a little bit more flexible.
Uppers wise, the Magista Obra 2 has the entire fly-knit upper, which is really soft. It's relatively flexible, it has dimples so that adds a bit of thickness to the upper. The Hypervenom 2 has a separate Nike skin upper, so you've just got fly-knit on the collar and on the lacing region. Nike skin upper, seen on the first generation Hypervenom, it's very soft, it's much more flexible and it's slightly thinner than the Obra 2 upper. Overall, both high quality uppers by Nike Football.
So taking a closer look at the upper of the Obra 2, and what we'll see is it will be slightly smoother than what you'll feel on the Phantom 2, which is rubberized and grippy on that honeycomb upper. However, the Obra 2 has those added dimples in a crisscross texture, which actually aids control. As found on all of Nike's elite level models, both the Obra 2 and Phantom 2 come equipped with ACC technology, which is just there to enhance consistent touch in all weather conditions.
So both boots feature the dynamic fit collar, which does wrap the ankle for a sock-like fit and feel. Very, very responsive fit and feel you'll get in both of these boots. The Hypervenom 2, along with the Bria cables, is the slightly more responsive boot of the two. Now the dynamic fit collar itself is a feature not liked by everyone. It does lock down the ankle and foot a bit too much. You've also got the option of the low cut Opus 2 and the low cut Finish 2 by both ranges. In terms of locking down your feet, Bria cables are applied to both boots. Single cables are used on the Magista Obra 2. They are responsive but not too aggressive. On the Hypervenom 2, the much more responsive boot, the Bria cables are much more aggressive and there are more of them. So there's two for each lace eyelet. Locks down your foot aggressively. A very, very responsive boot by Nike Football. So looking under the boots, both boots have a glass nylon chassis, about the same thickness and flexibility. The Magista Obra 2 has that rotational traction system on the forefoot there to help with pivoting, and the Hypervenom 2, this is the AG edition, so it's full of conical studs. The standard firm ground edition also has conical studs, which will be really good for pivoting and turning, especially in tight spaces, perfect for someone like Mahrez needing to beat the defender. The studs on the Magista Obra 2 are semi-circle shaped, so they're slightly different to what you see on the Hypervenom 2, which aids acceleration and turning in one.
Interestingly, the Obra 2 actually weighs less than the Phantom 2. The Obra 2 is 216 grams, whereas the Phantom 2 is 227 grams. And although the Obra 2 does have that dimpled upper, which looks a little bit more bulky than what you'll find on the Phantom 2, the Nike skin of the Phantom 2 is slightly heavier than the Flyknit equivalent on the Obra 2. So when Nike updated their Hypervenom Phantom 1 into the Phantom 2, they priced the boot at £230. Now the Obra 2 is actually £10 more at £240, but when the Phantom goes into its third generation of construction, Nike will most probably make that boot £240 as well.
Now design-wise, this is all about personal preference and the colorways you like most. The template on the Magista Obra 2 has that heat map design. The launch edition was Volt, orange, pink, turquoise and black, a very bright and modern colorway. You've also got the Elite Pack editions and the Pitch Dark editions, both for the Hypervenom Phantom 2 and the Magista Obra. The launch design for the Hypervenom Phantom 2 was also Volt, bit of clear jade and hyper turquoise, as well as black on that edition too. Both very, very vibrant colorways. So performance pros, so which boot is actually better? Now again, this is a case of personal preference. The Magista Obra 2 will be the slightly more comfortable boot, as they got the Flyknit material everywhere throughout the entire boot. It's going to be slightly more protective, and it is the lighter boot of the two, just 10 grams lighter. Not really a major pro to the Magista Obra 2. Now the Hypervenom Phantom 2 will be the more responsive boot of the two. You're going to have a really locked down playing experience in the Hypervenom Phantom 2, and the seamless upper with that off-center lacing system. So my eyes, strikers should go for the Hypervenom Phantom 2. If you are a defender, midfielder, or even a striker, you could go with the Magista Obra 2. So performance cons on both of these boots, you will see the dynamic fit collar, which is a feature not liked by everyone. You've also got the low cut option of the Magista Opus 2 and the Hypervenom Finish 2 to go for. Personally, they're both really good boots. And another performance con on the Hypervenom Phantom 2 is low protection. The upper is slightly thinner than what you see on the Magista Obra 2, as the Obra 2 has those dimples on both sides of the boot to protect your feet. So overall, which boot is better and which boot would I prefer? It all comes down to personal preference. As I mentioned before, both are very, very high quality boots by Nike Football. Flyknit on both of these boots and Nike Skin on both of these boots, very, very high quality. In terms of the boot that I would choose, I would go for the Hypervenom Phantom 2 because it is a striker's boot. I am a winger slash striker. I like to have that clean off-center lacing system for striking the ball, as well as it's worn by Lewandowski, it's worn by Sturridge, it's worn by Cavani. Headline strikers, I'm definitely going to go for the Hypervenom Phantom 2 over the Magista Obra. Both very high quality options by Nike, but I would prefer the Hypervenom Phantom 2.
So after fully testing the Obra 2 and Phantom 2, having it in hand and on feet, my own personal opinion on which boot I prefer is a very tight call. I really enjoy the honeycomb upper of the Phantom 2 because it gives me a very high quality and premium sensation and feedback when touching and striking the ball. Now the Obra 2, it has that same kind of feeling from the aggressive textured dimpled upper, but what the Phantom 2 doesn't have is that same responsive fit and feel that the Obra 2 does have because of that very soft heel cut of the Phantom 2. The Obra 2 just feels a little bit more responsive throughout the entire boot, and that is why the Obra 2 would be my own personal choice.
So thank you very much guys. Which boot would you go for? The Magista Obra 2 or the Hypervenom Phantom 2? Please vote in our poll card now with which boot you would choose. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time.